The British royal family we know today is not just a modern institution. It has a history that stretches back over 1,000 years. History is shaped by kings and queens, battles and alliances, vision and ambition. From the misty shores of early medieval Britain to the palace of modern London, the story of monarchy is one of power, legacy, and transformation. In this series, we journey through the lives of monarchs who built a nation, fought for survival, and felt a mark on the world that resonates even today. Each episode explores a different ruler, their triumphs, their struggle, and enduring legacy they left behind. This is Crown and Destiny, the monarchs who shaped Britain. The 9th century was a time of darkness and danger in England. Viking raiders from Scandinavia swept across the coast, plundering towns, destroying monasteries and forcing kingdom to collapse. In the midst of chaos, one young prince would rise to shape the face of nation. He was Alfred, later known as Alfred the Great, the only English king ever given the honorific. This is the story of courage, wisdom, and vision, the story of Alfred the Great. England at the time was not a single country. It was a collection of independent kingdoms: Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria, and East Anglia. The Vikings, also called the Danes in historical records, had invaded since the late 8th century. They traveled in longships, striking swiftly, often in winter when the kingdoms were most vulnerable. By the mid-9th century, several kingdoms had fallen. Northumbria was largely under Viking control. East Anglia and Mercia were weakened or subjugated, and only Wessex remained a stronghold for the Anglo-Saxons. Wessex itself faced enormous pressure. Its king struggled to defend the people, and the future seemed uncertain. Yet it was here that Alfred would inherit a kingdom under siege. Alfred was born in 849, the youngest son of King Ethelwulf of Wessex. As the youngest, he was not expected to inherit the throne. He had 4 older brothers, all of whom would die before Alfred's rise, many in battles against Viking invaders. Alfred grew up in a turbulent world. From a young age, he was exposed to tales of war, strategy, and leadership. His early education included Latin and religious texts, unusual for princes at that time, reflecting the growing influence of learning in Wessex. According to historical accounts, Alfred was also known for his humility, pity, and keen intellect, traits that would later define his reign. In 871, Alfred became King of Wessex at the age of 21, following the death of his brother Ethelred. The challenges were immense. Viking armies, often far larger than Wessex forces, threatened to destroy what little remained of Anglo-Saxon resistance. Alfred's first year as king were filled with military campaigns, retreats, and strategic planning. It is said that he learned from both victories and defeats, carefully observing the Vikings' strategies and adapting his own forces accordingly. In January of 878, Guthrum, leader of the Great Heathen Army, launched a surprise winter attack on Wessex. Alfred's forces were overwhelmed, and the Viking captured several towns. The Anglo-Saxon chronicle records that Alfred fled to the marshes of Athelney, a remote swamp in Somerset, where he took refuge with a small band of loyal supporters. Legend tells of Alfred hiding in a peasant's hut and, according to Esser, being scolded by a woman for burning cakes while he was distracted by his plans to reclaim his kingdom. This story, while anecdotal, illustrated Alfred's human side, a man of intellect and humility, even in exile. From Athelney, Alfred relied local militias, trained new soldiers, and developed a strategy to reclaim Wessex. He strengthened fortifications, organized the army, and prepared carefully for a decisive confrontation. His leadership inspired loyalty, and even peasantry, clergy, and noble contributed to defense and restoration of the kingdom. Later, in 878, Alfred struck at the Viking forces of Edington against overwhelming odds. His army defeated Guthrum. Following the battle, Alfred and Guthrum negotiated the Treaty of Whitmore. Guthrum agreed to be baptized, renouncing his pagan practices, and withdrew to East Anglia with his followers. This victory not only secured Wessex but also laid the foundations for the eventual unification of England under Anglo-Saxon rule. Alfred was more than a military leader. He was statesman and reformer. He built a system of fortified towns called burhs, strategically placed to protect communities from future Viking attacks. He recognized the army, instituting a rotation system so the Wessex always had trained soldiers ready. He is credited with creating the beginning of an English navy, using ships and intercept Viking raiders along rivers and coasts. Alfred also reforms the law, creating codes that combine Christian ethics with traditional Anglo-Saxon customs. He encouraged learning, translating Latin texts into Old English, making knowledge accessible to his people. For Alfred, strength was not only in the sword but in law, education, and culture. Alfred died in 899, leaving Wessex stable, fortified, and culturally enriched. His son Edward and elder and grandson Athelstan continued his work, ultimately united England under a single crown. Alfred's vision, courage, and reforms earned him the unique title, the Great. No other English king has received this distinction. From exile to the marshes to forging a united kingdom, Alfred's story is one of the intelligence, resilience, and leadership. He built more than a kingdom, he built the foundation of the England.